Hello and welcome to day 62 of our 2790 series, and today we're going to be reading from Ephesians chapters 4, 5, and 6, and this is Paul's great call for unity in the life and ministry of the church. And here he begins to talk about how important it is that we use the gifts and the graces that God has given us, that we might be united as one people, speaking clearly the gospel of Jesus Christ, bringing light into the darkness, not allowing the darkness to overwhelm the light, but allowing the light to overwhelm the darkness. And he talks about unity in the church in chapter 4, and he talks about unity in the family in chapter 5. And chapter 5 is one of those chapters that many in our culture struggle with. They wonder if Paul's speaking the truth when he says these things. And it fascinates me that I can speak the words of chapter 5, that men are to submit themselves to one another as in the Lord, and they are to humble themselves and love their wives, and they are to make their wives the most important person in their life and elevate the needs and the desires of their wife above themselves. And then when I talk in chapter 5 about the role of the wife to humble herself and to submit herself and to elevate her husband above her will, I have never in my life had a man tell me he didn't think I was speaking the truth. But I have had many women tell me they think Paul's wrong, that women are not called to be humble or to be submissive in that way. And I think it's because maybe they're not married to men who are men of God. I don't really understand it. But I do know that it causes division. These words in the 5th chapter cause division for some reason. And I think it's because people misunderstand what it means to be a humble person and to desire to be gentle and quiet and to live a peaceful life and not consistently have to get your own way. And I think men and women both, we just all misunderstand what it means in marriage to honor the other person above ourselves. And so that's the call. And so we need to come to grips with whether or not we believe Paul, again, is speaking the truth. Then in the 6th chapter, he gives us this great triumph, kind of a battle call. Put on the armor of God. And that's an everyday experience. When we wake up in the morning, we put on the helmet of salvation and the shield of faith and the sword of the Spirit. In order to defend ourselves and defend the gospel. We don't simply allow people to believe whatever they want to believe, say whatever they want to say. We stand for the truth, and we don't allow the spiritual forces to come at us without having some defense. And that's why it's so important that we spend our time in the Word of God, reading and learning exactly what it is that God says through the prophets, God says through the apostles, and what God says through someone like Paul, so that we can understand the truth.